What's up? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's going down, man. Everybody probably just got off the job, man. Just made it home. Yeah? Probably just made it home, man. Just getting off the J-O-B. Getting off the J-O-B. And if you call, you can get with me. I remember that song, man. That shit was dope. We gotta talk about the job, man. Gotta talk about the job. This is something, somebody actually wanted me to talk about this like a month ago. But I chose to wait. Wanted me to talk about the J-O-B. The politics on the job. Boy, I tell you. I can talk about this all week. But I'm not. You know. I'm going to give my little spiel. I'm going to give you an update on what I've been seeing. And you can go run with it. You know what I'm saying? And you have to understand, I know a lot of recruiters. And I know a lot of people that work in HRs across America on a bunch of these companies. So I know the games that's being played. And most of the time, a lot of these tactics and hoops, they make people jump in. Most of the time, it's just a total waste of time. It's more of, I'm going to put all these rules and tactics out here just to kind of, it's not even about vetting. It's not really about vetting. It's really about seeing who's going to stick around longest. That's what it's really about, really. And in most cases, these people already know who they're going to hire for the job. Even before you get there, even before you apply for the job, even before you, sometimes before you even get an interview, these people know who they're going to hire. They know who they're looking for. They might even have a person specifically that they know that they're going to hire for the job. But they got to go through all the rigmarole and go through all the they gotta go, I don't know what to call it, really. I mean, it's just perpetrating, you know. And the only person that think is real is the people that's applying for the jobs and the people that's being interviewed. They think it's real. They think that, you know, and I'm not mad at the people that apply for jobs and go for interviews and stuff like that. But most of the time, the person that's interviewing you, they're not really serious. They're not really seriously looking for somebody. They're not really seriously looking to hire somebody most of the time. You know? There you go, America's principle. Y'all get ready for more subjective experiences. Updated general. Man, get out of here. You don't have to stay, bro. Nobody made you come up here. You just another troll. That's all. It's nothing subjective. I talk about my experiences and what I know. Yeah, it's nothing subjective. I don't really talk about subjective things a lot unless it's about how somebody looks. That's about really it. That's the only subjective thing I talk about for the most part. But and if it is something subjective, I'm saying I actually come out and say it. Not like you. I actually come out if I speak about anything subjective, I actually come out and say it. Most people don't do that, you know. But I kind of stay away from that. I don't really like to talk about subjective things. Just even when it comes to how somebody looks, I don't say the person. I don't say a woman is ugly because she might look good to you. She might not look good to me, and so on and so forth. So but you gotta have the trolls. You gotta have people doing what this guy just did. And I said a couple days ago, I've been on YouTube for a long time, and I've never left a negative statement on nobody's channel. And in order for you to leave a negative statement on somebody's channel, you got to be one miserable son of a bitch. For real. Because I got so much going on in my own life, I don't really have time to do that with anybody's channel. I don't know what nobody else is doing. I'm too busy living my own life. So in order for somebody to leave something negative on somebody's channel, even if you're a troll, a paid troll, you still got to be one miserable son of a bitch to have a job like that with that type of mindset. You got to be one miserable son of a bitch, boy. And I don't feel bad for people like that though, but I know if we were in real life, they would never really say anything like this because they're cowards. They're cowards. It's a lot. Most people. There's a lot of guys that are cowards out here. Unfortunately, and that's not my opinion. If you go hang out with them long enough, just listen to them long enough, you be like, you come to the same conclusion as I do. I'm like, this dude is a coward. He ain't standing up for nobody, including himself. And you wonder why he has the problem that he has. Because he's not really a man. He's really a boy. Deep down. Unfortunately, that's why I say some people, man, some people can't be helped. Yeah, some people, man, it's too late. They're too far gone. Mentally and physically. Yeah, some people can't. Some people can't be helped. Some people you're gonna have to let go. Let them crash and burn. Yeah, I was talking to this lady over there. She was saying, "Man, no, I think everybody can be helped if they're willing to put in the work." And I disagree with that. Some people are just too far gone. They so out of their minds until it's like it doesn't matter what you say to them. If whatever you saying if it's not in alignment with how they think, forget about it. Forget about it. Yeah. Some people it don't matter. You can hold a hand. You can walk with them step by step. As soon as you leave, they're gonna be doing something else. Yeah, they need they need a caretaker. Some people, and a lot of adults say over the age of 40, forget about it. Forget about it. Ain't most people over the age of 40, most of them are gone, man, mentally. They're out of it. They've been beaten up so bad, man, no. They can't be helped, man. Some people can't be helped, man. That's why I talk to younger people. See, younger people, they got enough sense to know that there's something going on out here. There's a lot of stuff going on out here. They might not know what's going on exactly, but young people, they got enough sense to know that something ain't right. The way shit is going in this country, and even in the world, young people know that, look, something ain't right, and I need to we need to do something about it. You know, but old people over the age of 40, and the old people, forget about it. Most of them, man, they finish. You know, they're done. They're done, man. You know, yeah, they're done. Most old people are against young people, and a lot of old people, they don't like anything that I'm doing right now. No, they would shit on everything that I'm doing. They would shit on this. They would be like, "Oh, get out of here, man! Get out of here!" You know, and that's how it is. So most old people are thinking about how much their medication gonna be next month. You know, it's no strategy. It's just go along, get along, and don't ruffle no feathers. And nah, man, I wasn't raised like that, man. Yeah, I wasn't raised like that. You know. But anyways, when it comes to these jobs, it seems like every 5 years there's something new that you have to do to apply for these jobs. It seems like every 5 years, I would say, it's always some new wrinkle, something you got to do. I mean, like when I was growing up, man, you didn't even need a resume to apply for a job when I was growing up. All you needed was just sign this application and we'll get back to you if we need any help. That was it. And then probably I'm saying by the time I was 20, my late 20s, then it became, hey, you need a resume. A resume? What the heck? I ain't got no resume. What the heck is that? All right? That's when the resume became like a big deal. And this is probably late 90s. A resume became like a big deal in the late 90s. It's like if you didn't have a resume, they didn't even want to talk to you. They didn't even want to see you. And in certain companies, they didn't even want to talk to you. Don't call us. We'll call you. It was that they didn't give their number out. That's what they started doing in the late 90s. And the resume became a big deal because what used to happen is people used to actually walk into these companies. They used to drive up to these companies and go door to door and actually ask them, hey, y'all hiring anybody? And they would say either yes or no. And if there was, they would say, yeah, actually we are. You know, and then you would do an application on the spot, and they say, hey, if you fit the qualifications of somebody we need, hey, we'll call you. Have a nice day. That used to happen but in the late 90s, they started getting tired of people coming through the door for whatever reason. I'm not sure why it happened, but it started to happen. And the resume became like a big deal. But a lot of the resume wasn't pretty for most people. It was okay, you know, and he said, from what I've seen anyway. But over time, I guess the people in the HR kind of got tired of looking over hundreds of resumes. So then they started coming out with a way to look through resumes, hundreds of resumes, faster than ever. So then they came out with software that would filter out certain resumes, and all the resumes that would make the cut would be kicked out, and the other resume would be sent to the trash. Yep. When they start doing that, then the resume became a big deal. We got to a point where your resume had to look a certain type of way. Your resume had to have certain keywords. It had to be designed a certain type of way, arranged a certain type of way. So I'm like, damn. So every 5 years, it was like a new change, a new thing. And even still to this day, now it's about AI. It's the AI resumes. You know, so I'm like, you got to go through all these hoops. I mean, if you apply for a job like most people, you got to go through all these hoops to even hopefully, get an interview, right? Because most people probably ain't gonna make it past the AI. They probably ain't gonna make it because their resume ain't quote good enough based on HR standards and recruiter standards from what I've been hearing. You know, now me personally, I've gotten past all that shit. You know, I mean, I've gotten past the filters many times, hundreds of times. You know, but I play the game different from most people. Because see, there's a front way, like most people apply online, a back way, and a side way. And there's another way too, but we ain't gonna talk about that. So I've gotten past the applying process many times. But most people, the way things are set up, they can't even get past the damn AI. Can't even get past the filters today. Most people, that's just reality. But I say all that, but what's the purpose of all of this shit anyway? None of this stuff has anything to do with the job at all. You know? And I would say in most cases, you really don't know what these people are looking for on these jobs. You might think you do, but you really don't. And in most cases, you don't really get hired for what's on your resume. You get hired based on everything else but what's on the resume most of the time. You know. Now, check this out. A lot of people will lie and say, "Well, I got hired because I was qualified and whoopity whoop and whoopity whoop." No, that's cap. That's cap. That's cap. People lie all the time and say why they got hired and how they got the job. They just knew somebody. That's all. In most cases, that's all it was. Or they had experience in a field where nobody else could do it. that was in the building at the time. That happens too. But then most of the time, they knew somebody. That's all it is. But they never gonna admit that. Because when it comes to getting these jobs, everything is like a secret. In most cases, it's always it's like a big secret. How I was able to do whatever I did. You know, if you really think about it in society, when it comes to doing anything that doesn't happen every day or happen very often, it's always kind of taboo, like a secret, like people don't talk about it as much. Don't tell anybody about it. It's like shh, don't say that. You know, don't say anything. It's like a big secret. Like, ooh, no, I don't tell them. You know, it's like a big, you know, it's like that a lot. You know, people won't tell you how they bought a house. They won't tell you how they bought a car. They won't tell you how they invest their money. They won't really say how they do it. They might tell you where they did it at, but they don't tell you how they did it. You know, they won't tell you how they make money outside of their job. They don't really say. They say, yeah, I got more than one income, but hey, show me how to do it. I'll get back to you. You know, it's always that in society. It's always like that. At least since I've been living anyway. You know, it's always like a big secret. Like people feel like people are very insecure. They feel like if they tell you how they did something, it's like they're gonna lose out on something. You know, people are very insecure. I mean, on a level where it's like you can't even fathom. You can't even. I never even thought people were that damn insecure. People are very insecure about almost anything you can imagine. Especially when it comes to their woman, they're paranoid. Like if a man or a woman look at their woman, they be like, "Oh, what are you looking at her for?" Their eyes get all big, and I'm like, "Yo, you need to relax, bro. Nobody's even paying attention to her." I'm telling you, bro. That's when I figured out a long time ago the things that really make a difference in society almost never get talked about in public. Never. Almost never get talked about. The things that would really make a difference in most people's lives never gets talked about. Never, ever. Every once in a while, you might have somebody might slip out and say something. And most of the time, it's going to go over everybody's heads. Not because it's wrong, because you don't hear anybody say anything like that very often. So it's like, that just sounds strange, like a different language. You know? You know, it's like, that's why it takes most people a long time to really start really accomplishing anything in their life or really get to a place where they want to be in life. Because they got the wrong information. And it usually takes, if you have the wrong information, by the time you figure out that it's wrong, 5 years might have went by. 10 years might have went by. And you be like, damn, man, all that damn time, man. I wasted 10 years. I wasted 5 years. I wasted 15 years. And nobody said anything. All these people you're around all this time, nobody said anything. And you hanging around these people all the time. You say they're your friends, and you mean to tell me nobody knew that you were going down the wrong path? Ain't no way. Somebody knew something wasn't right. They might not know exactly what you were trying to do, but they knew, somebody knew. If you're around hundreds of people from the age of 18 to 30, I'm just being conservative. Somebody knows something that you doing probably ain't right, but they ain't gonna say shit. And this is common amongst a lot of people. And when it comes to jobs, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, man. It's the same thing, bro. Over and over again. Most jobs I got, I knew somebody. Most jobs I applied for online, yeah, I would say out of 10, 4 out of 10 I got on my own. 4 out of 10. Now I get past the filters and all that stuff. My resume, no problem. Now when it comes to the interview, now that's when things get a little rocky, because it only takes one person to say, hey, I don't like him. He ain't a good fit. That's it. It's over. And you just wasted, think about this for a second. You might apply for that job 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago. You probably forgot about it until they call you one day and you be like, what's the name of this company again? What was XYZ? You be like, oh, it's been so damn long, you forgot. Right? But you be like, you know what? I'll go to the interview, see what they're talking about. So everybody likes you. The HR person like you, 9 times out of 10 is a woman. If it's a woman, forget about it. It's a home run. I'm getting the job if it's a woman. If it's a woman, I'm getting the job. I don't care where she's from. I'm just that type of guy. You know? Now, if the only way I won't get the job is if she's a whole butt kisser from someplace else, some islands or some shit like that. That's the only way. You know, most of the time, if the woman is born and raised in America, forget about it. I'm getting the job. I'm getting the job, bro. This is what it is. You know, and I have a track record of this shit. You know, within 10 minutes, I'll know if I got a shot at, well, probably less than 10 minutes, I'll know if I got a shot or not. As soon as I walk through the door, I pick up the vibe, the person at the desk, I look around, I pretty much know how this gonna go. I sit down, wait for the HR person to come in. I go in the back, sit down with her. That's less than 10 minutes. I already know if it's a good vibe, there's a good chance I'm gonna get that job. You know, and if it's up to her, if she's doing the hiring, I'll get the job. If they say, hey, I gotta let you talk to the manager another day or a couple minutes later, that's when things go left. That's when things go left, when the manager comes in there. Because 9 times out of 10, the manager is usually I gotta plug my phone up. 9 times out of 10, the manager is usually a white man, an older white man for the most part, and he really ain't used to being around a guy like me. So as soon as he come through the door, I'll be able to tell how this gonna go. As soon as he come through the door, it's either a hell yeah or a hell no. When we look at each other, it's either hell yeah or hell no. As soon as he walked through the door. And most of the time, it's been a hell no. It's almost never anybody else but a white man, an older white man. Because, see, these guys are really looking to hire women at these jobs. They like being around women. Because being around a bunch of women makes them feel comfortable. Being around guys makes them uncomfortable. See, like I said, I always say that relationships is a psychological game. It's psychological. Of your personal relationships, your work relationships, your business relationships, is all psychological. Once you understand that, things get better for you, socially speaking. You know, whether it's online, offline, it don't matter where it's at. Whether it's on your job, it's all psychological at the end of the day. It's all psychological at the end of the day. You know, the way people send email is psychological. The way this clown left a comment is psychological. I can tell how he left a comment. I can kind of tell what type of person he is. When somebody tweets, sends email, does a video, talk on the phone, meet in person, I can pretty much tell what type of person they are. That's how it is. And a lot of times, being that I've had so much experience, and I understand how a lot of people think, I don't waste my time in certain environments around certain people. Because I always I want to put myself in environments, positions to win. I don't want to be spinning my wheels, just trying anything, throwing some shit up against the wall, and hopefully it sticks. No, that's not strategy. That's not my strategy. My strategy is to put myself in rooms around people that I can win. My strategy is not to put myself in rooms where and so I can get to scamming people. No. Scamming ain't no good strategy. That ain't no strategy. Scamming. Yeah, I know some people, you know, you might be, you'll raise up and it's all about scamming, scheming, and the scamming. That ain't no strategy. No. No. Uh-uh. No, scamming and scheming that's not strategy. No. You know? So everything is psychological. Whether it's in the job environment, your personal life, your business life, it doesn't matter how they communicate or where they communicate, whether it's through text, email, video, over the telephone, everything's psychological. And once you realize that and understand that, things will get better for you. It got better for me, you know? And that's how this book came about. That's how this book came about. Love at First Click on Amazon.com. Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. You know, that's how this book came about, you know. Through all my experiences. Now, I haven't had a lot of trials and tribulations um, while I was learning along the way. I have most of my experiences have been pretty good. I can't front. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh man, I struggled with women and I got treated so bad and she took all my money and hell no, that never happened to me before. No, 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 that ain't never happened to me before, man. I never got treated really badly like that. I had some misunderstandings and some you know some people, they see things one way, I see things one way. We agree to disagree, and that's it. But I haven't had no fights with women. Nobody threw a glass at me, or throw a beer at me, or pour a drink on my head, or no. No, they do that shit in reality shows, I think. So I haven't had any knockouts with women. No, that hasn't been my experience. I know. Nope. I get love everywhere I go. I get respect everywhere I go. And if I can't get respect, I'm out. I'm out of there. I'm out of there. I don't see, because I don't put myself in environments, situations around people that are going to disrespect me. So I'm not going to be around those people, man or woman, kids too. But hey, once you understand this, things get better. Now, see, here's the thing with a lot of guys today. A lot of guys today, well, not only today, it's pretty much always been like this. Being that I've traveled the world and met so many people, a lot of guys seem to want to change the environment and with the laws and public policies, and that'll force the women to change, right? Now, I don't got time to be waiting. That's gonna take too long. I don't got time to be waiting all them years for the environment to change and the women to change and the institution to change. No, that's gonna take, man, that might take 10, 20 years, 40 years for that to happen. Hell no. So what I did is I made the change. I adapted. Because I see the world how it is. Not the way I want the world to be. And I don't sit and complain about women or anybody really. You know what I'm saying? Because I always looked at it like this. I'm gonna find a way around whatever it is, regardless. And I'm not gonna go around telling everybody about how awful the women are, or the company is, or the institution is, or the environment is, or I don't got time for all that. I don't got time. That's a waste of time. That's for weak people do that. Those are for the weak-minded people. I don't got time for all that. I'm gonna find a way around it. That's all. Period. And that's what I've done. And you have to continuously do that. You every few years, you have to do a self-assessment of who you are, what you've done in the past, and you have to make changes accordingly. That's it. And I do that probably, I don't know, every 2 years, I would say. I look back and be like, okay, how did I do? And if I don't like something, I dump it. If I have to make changes, I do it. But to sit around and complain about women and how things ain't going the way you want to or whatever, You know. Now I understand a lot of people that talk like that. They have an entitlement mentality because there's a lot of men and women that feel like they don't have to compete with anybody. They don't want to compete with anybody. They have an entitlement mentality. And if you want to live like that, cool. Knock yourself out. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. That's your life, not mine. You know, it's your life, not mine. You know? But it is what it is out here today. You know, but the politics is never going to change out here. If it does change, it's probably going to get worse. You know, people not going to change how they think. You know, usually if somebody change, they probably have to go in a coma and come back out. You know, something. They have to have a tragic death experience in order for them to change. In most cases, and the older they get, the worse they get. So that, you know, that tells me that. I mean, I've been living long enough to see this. You know, and like I said, I've traveled the world. So I have a world view of things, not just I traveled 2 states over or some shit like that. No. I've traveled all over America and I traveled all over the world. So it's not like I'm not talking about, hey, I traveled from the next state over and I'm talking shit. No. You know, that's the difference between me and most people online. Yeah, most people online have not really been anywhere. They have a very small-minded way of thinking. They're speaking based on their experience and the little hick-nick town where they live at. And that's okay. But the problem is a lot of people are arrogant. And they think they know everything. That's the problem. Until they self-destruct. But hey, you may disagree. And that's okay too. It's your life, not mine. You know? But if you do disagree, all I got is one question. One question. How's your way going today? With all your way of thinking, your way of approaching, your way of living, how's your way going today? If you love the way things are going in your life today, that's fantastic. That's exactly what I want to hear. But if you don't like how things are going in your life today, why you keep doing the same thing over and over? And if you're doing the same thing over and over, I think you know what that makes you. But hey, you know, like, share this episode. Don't forget to get my book, my best-selling book, on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. 500 pages a game. Until next time, peace.